We're live with another episode of BS Busters, and I'm joined by. Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself.
It's Kanoshi Abominito. Nintendo Direct was okay.
Yeah, it was a little
Just
bit.
okay.
It was a little bit above mediocre.
Yeah.
But there were some surprises in there that I did not see coming. I mean, there were things that were rumored, but I think everything got pushed back due to, just shit happening. But let's get into it. I'm using an article from Polygon that basically encapsulates all the announcements. So let's get to it after the cut. Well, there is no cut. It's just, I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying after the cut. You can tell I've been cutting videos for the channel today, and I've been using that moniker. Okay, then. This is not in order. So, I guess let's get the big elephant out the room. The big elephant out the room is that I thought that the sequel to Breath of the Wild would be their end-of-year game. It is not. Their end-of-year game is they haven't announced it. The big game, the Breath of the Wild sequel, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, is coming out May 12th. So that is February, March, April, May. That's 3 months away. and in 4 days. So there you are, folks. They're also charging $70 for the game, which I'm like, okay.
Oh, they're charging $70 for that?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's... God dang it.
Look, man, that extra $10 is that hopefully so they added real dungeons to this game. Because they only had like 5 fucking dungeons in the last game, and 4 of them qualified more as like mini dungeons. They weren't real dungeons. Because you had to free the Zelda Megazords. The Zelda Megazords. Yeah. So anyway, so really, like, and I'm being kind of facetious, but in reality, Breath of the Wild felt like a overextended demo. And like the lack of enemy variety, the janky ass physics engine, the lack of traditional Zelda tropes in the title, felt like a demo for that physics engine. That's what it felt like to me. I know some people love that game, but everyone has their own viewpoints about these things. So hopefully they learned their lesson, and this game has been in development for at least 4 or 5 years at this point. So hopefully they will have addressed some of those concerns in this one.
Yeah.
Probably not, though, because it's Nintendo. So, I will not be pre-ordering this game. I'm going to wait until it comes out and I see reviews about what the game's about, what's in the game, what's not in the game. Because I was deeply unimpressed. After putting around 150 to 200 hours in Breath of the Wild on the Switch, I was not impressed with that title.
Yeah.
It's a game that looks amazing. The beginning of Breath of the Wild seems amazing, but the longer you play it, the more you realize there's so much shit missing in this game that should be here. At least to me. So, hopefully this game they deal with those issues. Probably not, because Nintendo. That's you gotta keep that in mind. It's Nintendo. Nintendo does whatever the fuck they want. Damn what fans want. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an Advance Wars fan, which I kind of am, you're getting some more Advance Wars. I mean, not Advance Wars Days of Ruin, which was like the post-apocalyptic Advance Wars, set in an alternate reality future where fucking like mercenary bands of raiders in a post-apocalyptic world are attacking people. Plus, you got killer robots, which I thought was a more interesting title. But I mean, Advance Wars, yay! You can play as Commander Andy and his ability to repair shit. Yeah, and those other commanders. It's cool. I mean, it's Advance Wars. They're finally bringing Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games to the Nintendo Switch Online. Unfortunately, you have to buy their shitty online service in order to use it, so...
Yeah.
And it's the same shit you could get a la carte without using a shitty online service on their last gen system, so... Yeah, not really... I mean, look, man, if you are in love with the Game Boy Advance and you didn't... you aren't someone who has, older hardware to play these games on with a EverDrive or something like that, then this is a nice way for you to enjoy these games in a handheld system.
Yeah.
But since I have all my old shit and I have an EverDrive and I've digitized most of my games, don't give a shit. Me personally. How do you feel about it? You care?
No, not really.
But for those who don't have it, there you go. Although there's some troubling things that should be here, like why do you have Wario Land 3 but not 1 or 2?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just like it seems weird what they're picking and choosing to bring over. Like, it's just kind of like I'm like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're also getting Metroid Prime, the original Metroid Prime. Yeah. Yeah. Just one problem. The original Metroid Prime is the most unambitious and boring of all three. It's the one that sold the highest, but it's literally just a 3D version of Super Metroid.
Yeah.
To its credit and its detriment. Like Metroid Prime 2 Echoes gives you a more interactive and interesting world to be in. And Metroid Prime 3 Corruption is perhaps the most ambitious of the trilogy. So, yeah, Metroid Prime. It's an HD remake. Yay! It's Metroid Prime. Yay! Yay! Can't you hear the enthusiasm coming out of my voice?
What was that?
No, I was being facetious. I just said yay so unenthusiastically. Pikmin 4. Now this is interesting because it looks really interesting because they've got dogs now. Yeah.
You're talking about Pikmin 4?
Yeah, Pikmin 4. Yeah, you can not only do you have the Pikmin, but you can find a dog, which is just that dog is cute as hell. I'm not gonna lie. People are gonna get look. Even if people don't buy this game, they're gonna get. I swear, Nintendo's gonna license that dog. They're gonna make a plushie, and people are gonna buy that plushie. Cause shit, if they make that plushie, I'm gonna buy it. It's so cute.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people are definitely gonna buy that.
Ochi, I'm gonna buy. If they make a plush Ochi, I'm gonna buy it. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna buy it. So yeah, I mean it's Pikmin. Pikmin has been a really good series from the start. Pikmin's like baby's first strategy game, except it's easier than most strategy games. Like go and play StarCraft back in the day. Some of those later missions. And Pikmin is way easier because it's real-time strategy and you have a lot more control over your units than in StarCraft.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Pikmin 4. Samba de Amigo. They brought it back, but it's a party game. So, I might get this game because I do like Samba de Amigo. I don't like the new design for Samba de Amigo. I liked him when he was short and like looked like a little Mexican monkey with a sombrero on.
What was Samba
de Amigo?
De Amigo. What was that game before?
No, it was Well, on the Dreamcast, it was a game where you basically got these two maracas, and it was a rhythm game where you move the maracas to the beat. You know,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's all it was. It was basically their answer to Pa Rappa the Rapper,
Oh,
except
okay.
Samba de Amigo. Pa Rappa the Rapper. If you've ever played that game, what you realize about Pa Rappa the Rapper is that even on the PAL and NTSC um, uh, versions of the game, the timing for the songs is off. There's like a lag to it, even
Mm-hmm.
on like original hardware, original versions of the game. Samba de Amigo didn't have that lag, so if you had good rhythm, it would be really, really good. And I love Samba de Amigo. I think the music is good. I think the you know I like rhythm games when they're done well. Um, Power Rapper the Rapper, despite its flaws, gets a pass because just the like a game where you have to where like Power Rapper lives in this world where essentially he has to everything is done to music. So if you want to pass your driving test, you have to rap. And at the end of the game, like you like Pa Rappa makes a cake for his girl that he wants to be his girlfriend, but it's a terrible cake, and people eat it and they get sick. So you have to wrap your weights so that you can get in the bathroom and take a Mondo shit because it made you sick. Is hilarious to me. So I'm like,
Mm.
like I give Pa Rappa a pass, even though it has some technical issues. Samba de Amigo doesn't have those same issues. It also doesn't have the same level of storytelling that Pa Rappa the Rapper tried to do. But I'm
Yeah.
glad for this. I like it. I'll probably get it just because I like Samba de Amigo, even though this is not a remaster of the original game. Another surprise, Baton Kaitos remaster.
Yeah.
Um,
I mentioned this yesterday that was a rumor. Turns out it was true.
yeah, so Baton Kaitos, you're getting Baton Kaitos and Baton Kaitos Origins. Don't listen to the bullshit they said. It's 1 and 2. Baton Kaitos Origins is not the sequel to Baton Kaitos. It's a prequel.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think this is a if this is a Nintendo Switch exclusive, I will get it on the Switch. If it is also coming to PC, I will get it on PC instead. Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Baton Kaitos was when a game made by Monolith Soft when they were independent developer, like not under Square Enix. Monolith Soft is made of a lot of former SquareSoft developers, and basically they made Xenosaga, Xenogears, and Baton Kaitos. Baton Kaitos 1 and 2 were GameCube exclusives, and Baton Kaitos was essentially a card battler game, which are really popular now, but they were not popular back then. Um, Baton Kaitos deals with, the first game deals with lies, betrayal, um, people in power, uh, manipulating propaganda in order to get certain things, redemption, failure. I mean, like it's a JRPG that deals with a lot of the shit that like Final Fantasy in recent years has tried to do but failed at. It nails. It's a really dark, deep, gritty RPG. It spanned across 2 discs on the GameCube. It was really long and really hard. Phrasing. It's one of the few JRPGs that I would say if you can get the strategy guide for Baton Kaitos, I would say get it because you need a strategy guide for the first Baton Kaitos.
Yeah.
All of that deep, cakey RPG, metagaming, crunchy goodness that was in the first game is tossed out of the window of the second one. The second one has been streamlined to shit, and I don't like it, but some people do because it was faster and easier to get into. That's it.
Yeah.
Baton Kaitos 1 and 2. It's coming to the Switch. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you talk. I've said good things about it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if you can get it on
Oh.
sale, not get it. Because, I mean, I bought that game on PC, and it's really. I mean, I bought that game on the GameCube twice, the first one, and it doesn't get cheaper with each purchase. because they haven't reprinted it in years. So I might just get it just so I have a physical version of the game to play. Because I love that first game so goddamn much, and I don't have to keep up with discs and my SD card. I mean the Switch cartridge isn't gonna get scratched up and damaged. I'm gonna have to go find my Bait and Kato strategy guide though, because that first game, there's a huge meta game in Bait and Katos because you use these cards called Magnus, and the cards change over time. So let's say you find a card, you buy a card at a farm in the game, or you get fresh milk from a farmer's as a card. You use a blank card to get fresh milk from a cow. If that card stays in your deck long enough, it turns into yogurt and then cheese.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if you buy grapes, which fresh grapes might restore 500 health and, etc., etc. Then if they stay in your deck long enough, your grapes will turn into wine, which might restore like grapes might restore 100 health. Then they'll turn into wine, which might restore 200 health and cure poison. Then they'll turn into vinegar. And then, you can use combos of stuff together in order to do stuff. Like, let's say you have some rice, and you combine that with a helmet and some water and some fire, you can create steamed rice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a huge metagame in Bait and Katos. I love shit like that. I like RPGs that have, deep complexity to it, which is why the prequel that kind of stripped all that shit out, I was like, what the fuck is this? But some people like that. They don't want to have to do all that heavy metagaming type shit. So I can understand that. But
well, the thing is, it's like how is it? Do you get to choose which card you get to use, or is it randomized?
It's randomized.
It's
randomized. But each character has a deck.
The orange.
Yeah,
you gotta pray to the RNG gods, huh?
Or no, it's how you, because here's the thing: the cards are randomized, but they're based on the deck for each character. So essentially, you could cover you could basically control what your deck was going to have by what cards you put in your deck. So you could skew the things in your favor. And as the game went along, basically the cards were based upon straights, flushes, pairs, stuff like that, like poker rules. So as the game went along, you would get cards that would have one number. So this card would be it's a 1, or it's a 2, or it's a 7, or a 6. But as you got further in the game, you could get cards that would have 4 numbers on them, or 2, or 3. So you'd have a card that would be 1, 3, 5, 7. So then basically, depending on which corner of the cards you choose, you could have a 3, 5, a 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was random, but if you built your deck really well, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, it wasn't oh my god, I have no control. It wasn't oh my god, I have no control. It was built, basically, the better you built your deck, the better chances you had of having successful battles, doing successful card combinations to create new shit. For example, like I said earlier, if you had a power helmet, which you could use as a putt, a bag of rice, you use water Magnus, a level 1 water Magnus and a level 1 fire Magnus, you could create steamed rice, which could become a food that you could later on use. You could just have your magic user, if you're in an area where you don't really need your magic user, you could have Shella, who was your female, the first magic user you got in the game. You could have her just go and make a lot of healing stuff. And then basically you could stockpile that shit, so then you could heal yourself, have a lot of heals for later on in that area. But here's the thing: some Magnus change over time. So if you didn't eat that rice, it would eventually go bad and it could poison you. So it was a lot of deck management. Yeah. But see, here's the thing, man. I like shit like that. It's not for everyone. I totally understand why people didn't some people, and if you didn't do proper deck management and you went into a boss fight against an enemy that your deck was not really strong against, or even kind of healed that boss, it made some boss fights really long. Okay, so I can totally understand why people didn't like that first game, but for me, I like shit like that. I like the meta game, getting to the nitty gritty, and like obsessing over how to build the perfect deck. I like shit like that in RPGs. So I'm glad this game's getting re-released. I'll get it for the Switch. If it's only for the Switch, if it's on PC, I'll get it on PCs because whatever. Anyway, the Fashion Dreamer. Does anyone give a shit about it? Can I move on? Just announcing that they announced Fashion Dreamer. Okay, yeah. Dead Cells returned to Castlevania. So basically, Dead Cells was able to make a DLC that's heavily influenced by Castlevania, and it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get this on PC because I already have Dead Cells on PC. So there you go. It looks pretty good though. Ghost Trick is no. Go ahead.
It's nice to see companies, being willing to put out their IPs like that.
Yeah, because Konami ain't done shit with Castlevania except re-release the collections over and over and over again. So, I mean, look, if you aren't going to do shit except keep on releasing your old shit, let someone who has a passion for the product make a new game. Yeah, Nintendo, let someone who has a passion for the product make a new game in the series if you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
I would love a new Wario Land game. But hey, it's coming March 6th, so that's next month. Next, we've got Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, which was released on the 3DS, I remember. It's also coming to Windows and PC. Wait, is Xenoblade? Is Beta? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's cool. And you play a Phantom Detective who goes around saving people. You're a ghost and you save people by using your ghostly abilities. So it's one of those weird Capcom games that Capcom came out with way back in the day that has like a cult fan base, but no one ever gave a fuck about it when it came out, except for that small cult fan base. So I'm glad it's getting new love. Yeah. We Love Katamari. This game was clearly made by someone who was high as fuck, and I love it. So yeah. Here we go. Katamari Damacy. This high-ass shit right here. So, yeah, if you want to play a game that simulates you being high on mushrooms without you actually having to get high on mushrooms, Katamari Damacy. And it's coming to everything.
Yeah. I remember I found out about that game, I think back in the G4 days.
What, Katamari Damacy?
Yeah, man, I was like, man, this game's so weird.
Yeah, but I like weird shit like that, though. Yeah.
Great stars.
Yeah, everybody, people, and then you throw that ball of mass in the air, and it gets lit on fire, and all those people die. But you're God, you're the son of God doing that. I'm like, when you really think about it, it's like this is kind of appropriate for most religions, but also kind of fucked up when you think about it. It's like this is horrifying. Also, really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it, and I'm like, man, this would have been great on the GameCube, but it never came to the GameCube. It was always on the PlayStation. I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable playing this on the PlayStation because the GameCube had the better joystick for games like this. And the irony now is that the Switch has shitty controllers for this. You have to use a Pro controller with this shit. Splatoon 3 announced new DLC. They're bringing back shit from Splatoon 1. You can go to Inkopolis Plaza, which personally, I like Splatoon 1 is my favorite in the series. I think 2 is On paper, everything about 2 should make me love it more, but the fact that they took out the dual screen gameplay for 2 and 3 makes me like those games less than the first game. So there you go. But yeah, they're adding new DLC. They're adding Inkopolis right now and some other shit. And then the side order with a new single player campaign is coming later on this year. So they're going to continue to support this into the end of this year, maybe even next year. So there you go, folks. There's an Illusion Island game. It's a Disney Illusion Island game, or as I like to call it, Disney World Rayman Legends, because that's what it is. Except it's an easier Disney World Rayman Legends. That's what this shit is. All right, folks. I don't like the art style of these characters. They don't look like the classic, you know, Donald, Goofy, Minnie, Mickey. So, yeah. Fun fact. Here's something you might not know. Here's a Disney fun fact for you, and then it's gonna get a little lewd and perverted. The guy who does the voice of Mickey Mouse is married to the lady who does the voice of Minnie Mouse. So, here's something to think about. Do you think they do those voices when they're in bed with each other?
I mean,
guess where I'm gonna put this? You know, that just seems like that'd be really weird. That'd be really weird. Could you imagine? Could you imagine dating a professional voice actor? That'd be some weird bedroom talk. But also kind of funny. Yeah. Depending on what character they voice. All right, next. We've got Harmony: The Fall of Reverie, which is like an adventure game / RPG / act. It's one of those weird indie games where there's a lot of shit going on. But functionally, it's like there's different realities and different factions you can side with, which change the story. And that seems really cool.
Yeah.
They're bringing back Professor Layton. We don't know anything about it. It seems like Level 5 is trying really hard to get back on track. After trying all that bullshit they tried to do earlier. They're doing what they were good at. So, yeah. I never was a huge Professor Layton fan because I just found it to be too fucking tedious, but there you go. Speaking of Level 5 doing shit they should have done years ago, Fantasy Life.
Yeah.
I don't know what I stands for, but yeah, they should have done a Fantasy Life sequel years ago, but for some reason they just kind of sat on their ass and did nothing. So, you know, I think it may be a little too too late for me. Even though I do love I still enjoy playing the first Fantasy Life. I played it with some members of the Gamers at Large years ago. Love Fantasy Life, but fucking hell, man. Level 5, why'd you wait? What? Fantasy Life came out in 20... Let's see. I'll go look it up. 2012. So basically, they waited over a decade to make a sequel to a game. Fuck you, Level 5. And,
what they do.
Yeah, and Mario Kart 8 is getting more DLC. They're bringing Yoshi's transgendered girlfriend, Birdo, to the game.
You will never get a Mario Kart 10, don't even think, or a Mario Kart 9, don't even contemplate it.
Not on the Switch, which I'll be honest with you. I'm glad they're not putting it on the Switch because the Switch is old as fuck. And if you're gonna make a new Mario Kart, like the longer the Switch goes on, the more the Switch feels like a transition console for me, for Nintendo. Like, you have to go through the Switch to get to what the next thing's going to be. Which hopefully will be better than the Switch.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are saying Nintendo is not progressive, don't forget, they had a transgendered character before anybody else in their games with Birdo. And there she is. And she's Yoshi's girlfriend. My only question is, who's the catcher and who's the pitcher?
Oh man.
Because, I mean, it seems pretty obvious because Yoshi lays eggs. Whereas his girlfriend spits out eggs. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just, it's confusing who's the catcher and who's the pitcher. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know if you want to think about it for too long.
I mean, look, man, they've been together for years. He must be happy with it. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, shit. Like, Mario's always jumping from woman to woman to woman, giving his brother the sloppy seconds, but Yoshi's been pretty consistent hanging out with Birdo. So, look, it must be a healthy relationship because they've been together so goddamn long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're getting the Yoshi's Island course and Birdo, and that's it. So, yeah. Yay. So, what do you think? What's your overall opinion about the announcements? Agree, disagree? You think it's worth it? You think it's not worth it? What do you think?
I think it's okay. I like I said, I think it, C plus. I like seeing Metroid get remade. That was nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of pissed that they're charging people $40 for a game when you could get the Prime trilogy for like $20 on the Wii U just a few years ago. Like, it feels a little scummy to me.
Oh, the problem with Metroid Prime trilogy is I believe the first game was the highest selling one. That's why obviously they honestly I it's cool that they remade it, but they should have just re-released the Prime trilogy.
That's what I'm saying. Just do do the whole damn trilogy, man.
Maybe with the higher resolution.
But they already did that.
And control options.
Yeah.
Like they do with the new game. They would have been. I think that would have been the better route to go.
They did that on the Wii U, though. That's the thing. Like, on the Wii U, it was 720p, which is HD. It was up-res. You could use the Wii. You could use the Wiimote and nunchuck and Wiimote in the Wii style, or you could use like the GameCube controller. So it's like, for this feels like a step backwards. Like, you just remastered a game you already kind of remastered, and you're only selling me a third of it at a jumped up price.
It's not like it's just at a higher resolution, because I've looked at the trailer a couple times. They actually, did stuff to the lighting and the textures. And
so they transported it to a newer version of Unreal. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. But
I mean,
at the same time, they would have been better off just re-releasing the trilogy.
Yeah.
With a slightly higher resolution, maybe at 1080p dock, 720p in handheld mode. Call it a day. Call it a done deal.
I would have paid more. If they said, look, we are releasing the Metroid Prime trilogy because we have taken these 3 games and ported them to a higher version of Unreal and optimized it to run on modern hardware, we're going to charge a little bit more, but you will have multiple gameplay options. You can play it using the classic GameCube style controls, or you can use the Joy-Cons as like they did on the Wii and Wii U. Here you go. I would be like, fuck it, take my money. But the fact you're only giving me Metroid Prime, which in my opinion, as someone who played the entire damn trilogy, and saw how the franchise, like each iteration got better than the other. Like the first game, even though it sold the most, is really not that good. It's I mean, like, okay, it's good, but the other games in the trilogy are better. Like they're exceptionally better. Like it's like Echoes is so much better than the first Metroid Prime. Prime 3 is better than Echoes. It's like, god damn, this series got better over time. And why would you re-release like the one that's kind of like the most basic bitch of all of them? But
yeah,
you know,
I mean, I'm gonna be.
you play devil's advocate.
That guy.
Okay, go ahead.
Gonna be that. No, I'm gonna say it's like, all right, it's cool that you remastered the first one, but why didn't you just remaster all three and then sell them for $40 like Activision Blizzard did with Crash and Spyro? Like,
You want to know why?
they
Because Nintendo
they
likes
remastered-
leaving. You want to know why? Because Nintendo likes leaving money on the table. They always leave money on the fucking table. We'll talk about that later. They love leaving money on the table. Oh, there's money? Oh, man. But we need to leave it on the table, man. We can't spend that money.
Because I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm just kind of like, Activision Blizzard, the company that we've harped on for being greedy, complacent sons of bitches.
Because they are.
Remaster. they they were able to remaster the Crash trilogy and the Spyro trilogy.
Yep.
Not charging an arm and a leg.
I mean, they did. They did, but those games are really well made, though. If you're a fan of Crash or Spyro, I am not, but the people who are, they love those games. Those games are great, and they even made a new game in the Crash series.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I'm looking at this. I mean, yeah, that looks, at least to me, it looks nice, but why not all three?
Yeah, that's where I'm like, why not all three? Like, why are you just focusing on the one? I mean, shit. I mean, like, I am of the strong suspicion that this is going to be the final year for the Switch. I don't mean the final calendar year. I mean the final fiscal year. Like, they're dropping Breath of the Wild at the beginning of their new fiscal year. So they want the final year to be strong. Okay? They're dropping it in the middle of they're dropping it at the end of spring so that it'll have all that time to just marinate and just do its own thing. I'm cool with that. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that they're just like, I'm like, let this system go out with a fucking bang. Release the whole fucking Metroid trilogy. Yeah. Why are you like, oh, here's Prime, just Prime, but Prime's like the shittiest one in the trilogy. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just here's the problem with Prime. Prime adheres so closely to the backtracking and inventory. Like it hewn so closely to Super Metroid to its own detriment.
Well, the problem is, it's like, I don't know what people are gonna say. Well, the Metroid series mechanically are more complex and but I gotta say the phrase that you like to say. Not my problem.
No, that's Reggie. That's not my problem. Look, hey man. Some people say that we can't compete with this, and this. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. That's not my problem.
I can already see the defenders coming out and being like, "Well, you don't understand this, that, this, and the third." It's like, but that's not the point.
Yeah, that's
completely missing the point here.
Look, here's what you don't understand. Okay, I don't mind paying $70, $69.99 for certain games. If Nintendo said, "Hey, we took the original trilogy, we remade all three of these games, and we up-res them and added more modern features and all that shit," $70. GameCube style controllers or motion controls with nunchuck and joystick. Here, $70. I'd say shut up and take my fucking money. Okay, that's what I would do. Exactly. But now they're like, oh, we're just giving you one. Well, shit, I have my Wii U with the trilogy on there, that gives me those options without me having to pay $40. So you know what? I'm going to play it on my Wii U. On my up-res TV that's up-resing it to 1080p any fucking way.
Yeah.
And it's 30 frames per second, but fuck it. I like echoes and corruption more anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of baffling. I mean, as exciting as it kind of is, but it's at the same time just kind of baffling. It's like I get it, you know. I mean, but Metroid Dread did relatively well for a Metroid game.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know what they're afraid of.
I didn't like Metroid Dread.
I'm just talking sales.
Yeah, sales wise, yes, it
Sales,
did.
yeah.
Sales wise, it did remarkably well. But for me, I was playing it and I'm like, I don't really.
Not working.
It wasn't doing it. Like, first of all, I didn't like the art style. I thought that, like, every other 2D Metroid game has its own hook, right?
Yeah.
Like, the first game the hook was you're a female bounty hunter. And it's, it's Metroid, etc., etc. Metroid 2, they added the shoulder pads, and you're literally being a bounty hunter. She's goes to this planet to kill every single Metroid on that planet, including the queen. And the only reason she doesn't kill the baby is because, like, the baby was not. She's the first thing that baby sees, and the baby thinks it's her mother. The baby thinks that Samus is the baby's mother, so it doesn't attack her. And then Samus, because she's a hero, she promptly takes that baby to a research station where it can be experimented upon. Because Samus is a hero. I'm being facetious. Then Super Metroid, where before Samus gets in her ship, flies away, and before she can even get to the next solar system, the space station is attacked by Ridley, who steals the baby, kills everyone on the station, and takes it back to the planet where Samus went in the first game. Super Metroid, that's Super Metroid. Then Metroid Fusion. Samus once again hunts down. She has hunted down all the Metroids, not realizing that the Metroids actually serve, species, whatever, serves a purpose because they keep another creature in check, which she's infected by. And they take DNA from a cloned Metroid and inject Samus into it. Inject it into Samus, changing her suit. Like, she gets a new suit that's all symbiotic and shit, and her old suit, which has been infected with the parasite, goes around hunting her ass down. Fusion takes the trope of Samus being a bounty hunter, and she becomes the hunted, and that makes it really interesting. It's got a horror thing, and when you see the Sax parasite Samus suit chasing your ass down, there's some dread. I mean, you have played Metroid Fusion, haven't you?
Yeah, I've played a bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the first time that you have the Samus suit chasing your ass down like that with that talk, it's like, oh shit. And the fact that you have Metroid DNA inside of you, so you have the weaknesses that Metroids have. So cold really hurts Samus. And functionally, this suit has all of your former strengths, none of your weaknesses. So every time that suit comes after you, the only thing you can do is fucking run. You can't even fight it until the end of the game where, you get your shit together. But it takes a while. So then you go from there to, Zero Mission, which is a remake of the first game, which I would say Zero Mission is superior to the first game in every way, shape, or form. Except for that end where you lose your suit and you have to go back and get it back and all that shit. It's just kind of weird. But these games are cel shaded. They look amazing for their time, and the art still holds up. And then we get this shit from Mercury Steam. The first one was they did a remake of Metroid 2, which I'm sorry, I don't like that game. They completely missed the point of a fucking remake. I'll be honest with you. If I have to play Metroid 2 remade, I'd rather play the PC version of the Metroid 2 remake done by fans because it's truer to the original source material. And then, they did Metroid Dread, which was just a fucking rehash of Metroid Fusion, except no fusion suit, and instead of one Samus hunting you down, you got these fucking super robots. Ooh, scary. I was not impressed.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all didn't do anything new. Nothing new or interesting. Oh well. But it was Mercury Steam. I don't expect much from them considering how they fucked up Castlevania. I'm like, you just love taking my favorite 2D series and fucking them up, don't you? But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I hope it's good, but I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not optimistic.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that bad because I still have my original hardware, so I can play all my old shit whenever I want. But for those of you who've never played Metroid Prime, yeah, you should totally get this. If you've never played the original Metroid Prime, get it. It's it is a remarkably good game. Like I said, if I had to say that there are some negatives about it, the only real negative I can think of is that it adheres a little bit too much to the Super Metroid formula. And I'm like, if you go to if your game goes to, like, there's some games where going to 3D isn't going to change the formula that much. There's other games where once you go 3D, you can't have it be the same as it was in 2D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Legend of Zelda, even if it's in 3D, that formula works. Going from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon, finding some item in the dungeon that's useful against the boss. Then that item opens up new areas where you can explore and traverse, thereby opening up more areas of the overworld that you can explore. 2D or 3D, that still works. That's not that doesn't need to change if you go into 2D to 3D. Whereas the backtracking and all the fucking items, like different types of ammo you have to keep up with in Super Metroid, that does not make a fun game in 3D.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's one of the things. It's like, God damn, there's like 5 different types of ammo I got to keep up with in this game. I don't like this. This is not fun. But anyway, I think we've exhausted that topic. Unless there's anything else you want to say about it.
No, not exactly.
All right. Okay, so our next topic is what am I looking for? Something. Oh, here it is. Nintendo cuts its sales forecast for its aging Switch console after a lower than expected holiday season. And this is from CNBC, so it's reputable. So Nintendo on Tuesday, that was yesterday, cut the outlook for its Nintendo Switch console and game sales and slashed its profit outlook for its current fiscal year. That's this year. So they're expecting their next fiscal year to be bigger. But they also gave everyone a pay raise because they know that Legend of Zelda is going to make a lot of fucking money. So functionally for me, personally, I've said this before. I think Nintendo is getting ready to. This year, I think they're getting ready to. This is going to be their year, 2023, the fiscal year 2023. So that's going to be from April to March of next year, their fiscal year. I think Nintendo's going to be doing their damnedest to make as much money off the Switch as they can before they're probably going to announce their next console next year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think so too. I think the next, yeah, probably. You're probably right. The next fiscal year is when they'll probably announce the next console, so they might start teasing it sometime late fall,
mm-mm.
early to late fall.
No,
You don't think so?
no, because I think they're going to have one last big game in the fall that they're going to want people to buy for the Switch, and that's probably going to be the dual release game
Okay.
for both systems. If they release it this year, but I don't think they're going to do that because it would cannibalize the sales of the Switch. Although at this point they already know they've hit market saturation for the Switch.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't really think they're going to be like, you know, because everyone who really wants a Switch already fucking has a Switch, and most people who have a Switch, like, I hate to say this, but a lot of the people who own Switches are casuals. They got a Switch for maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 games, and they're not buying more.
Yeah.
You know, like they
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
Switch for
yeah.
Smash Brothers, Splatoon, and Mario Kart. You know, I haven't purchased a Switch game in a long time because a lot of the games I really wanted for the Switch are also coming to PC. So it's like I don't see the point of me spending to double dip on a game, especially on PC when I can play it with a trainer and make it easier and mod it and all that shit. But you know, to each his own. That's my opinion. I know some people will disagree because you know everyone opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, or should. If you don't have an asshole, you need some help. um, but yeah, you have anything else to say?
Uh, no. I mean, if you have a Switch, I guess you still have stuff to play.
Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff to play. You've got that. I mean, you've got the virtual, not the virtual console. You've got their online library, which is trash. But I mean, for $50 a year, you get access to a decent array of games, a lot of prorated shit that you're paying for because you paid $50 a year. I mean, there's some good shit in there.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Anything else?
No. No.
All right. So with that being said, I guess we can move on to the final bit of the cast where we talk about free topic and then unpopular opinions. So do you have a free topic? Something you want to say?
Yeah. The thing about this, it's a, you know, Hi-Fi Rush being out. I think it's the first game, aside from Cuphead, that actually looked and felt like a cartoon. Like, we have games, stuff like in the Naruto series, some of those anime games, but they don't quite look and feel like their TV show counterparts. They do okay. Like the Naruto Cyber Connect stuff, they're pretty decent, but you know, um, like playing through Hi-Fi Rush, it felt like you were playing through a Saturday morning cartoon from like the early to mid 2000s,
Oh, that
playing
sounds
through
cool.
or playing through Cuphead felt like you were playing, through a
A
cartoon.
Popeyes cartoon.
Yeah,
A Popeyes era
it felt
cartoon.
like it, looked like it. Yeah, um, yeah. So, I just find that interesting.
Yeah. I wish they'd mix more. Like, Hi-Fi Rush proves that you don't have to spend a cajillion dollars on marketing for your games. If you make a good game and it has an interesting hook and you just drop it sometimes at the right time, it can make money. It can be successful. And I wish more people would understand that and stop always trying to make everything just, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And the problem with the marketing cycle of a lot of these games is that it's too much. They do too much, and they create all these high hopes.
Well, you
Which
know why
I
they
mean,
do it, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah. See,
sometimes they know a game is mediocre, but if you market it enough, it might sell something. For example, um, I'll give an example, right? Like, Fallout 4 is not a good game, but it was heavily marketed, and the marketing pushed that game up into being commercially successful, even though in the grand scheme of things, it's not very good. Get
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, if you
yeah,
market a mediocre product enough, you can make it into a success.
yeah,
Um, and that's essentially what a lot of companies do. They'll take shit and they'll market it to make it successful. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Like Square Enix marketed the shit out of Age of Avengers and that Marvel's Avengers, and that didn't work out that well. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So it just kind of you got to take what you can get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice if these companies were just, lay low, focus on these smaller, more experimental stuff. But I mean, Ubisoft is kind of sort of doing that. Like Child of Light was a pretty decent little that was a decent little game. And
Yeah,
then, you know, they were doing that stuff with their Ubi art stuff, and then they were just like, nah, we're not doing this anymore.
yeah,
Well,
because it wasn't making enough money for them. Because they want, like, here's the thing: they want millions and millions and millions of dollars, no questions about it. And it's like, I hate to break this to you, but you're not always gonna make all that types of money. Like sometimes you're just gonna be broke.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta eat it. I guess.
Or just lower your expectations. I know this is hard for these companies. Sometimes you gotta. It's like, have you ever watched Mad TV where they had that lowered expectations? Sometimes you just have to have lowered expectations. You know,
Yeah.
like stop thinking every game's gonna. Oh, it sold millions. It sold a cajillion units. Like, I mean, come on, man. That's an unrealistic. That's an unrealistic. That's unrealistic for you to expect a game to sell gangbusters like that all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so that's your free topic or unpopular opinion.
Yeah, that's my free topic.
All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. Um, my this is an unpopular opinion. I know some people are gonna get mad about this, but I don't really care. Here it is. I think that well, it's not really unpopular. I think that if you're not gonna do anything with your games, like if you have an IP that you're doing fuck all with, just give it to indies or somebody else. Don't sit on it forever so that no one can do anything with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like personally, I'm tired of seeing IPs just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just sell it if you're not gonna do anything with it.
I'm not. No, don't sell it because if you sell an IP, like you can't make money off of it. But just don't just sit there and just have an IP just languishing away.
Oh yeah, yeah. More like farm it out. rather than some, you can still make money off of it.
You
License
know,
out the IP. Yeah.
don't just sit there and just be like, oh yeah, yeah, we're just gonna sit on this IP. It's like, but you could do something with it. Nah, we just gonna sit on it, because
I mean, you have developers over there that can do something with it. They've made a couple of games that are just like that IP that are really good. Maybe if you actually gave them the IP, maybe they could do. Nah, we really don't feel like it. We're just gonna leave money on the table.
yeah, yeah, we just. It's like we were going to give you a lot of money, but we don't have the energy for it. We're just going to take that money and do not a damn thing with it. It's like, come on, man.
Gaming.
It's like, don't do this to me. I just want to play good games. Listen. There's tons of and if you have an IP that's been dormant for a while, they need to change the laws so that if there's a dormant IP, something you can't just sit there and just do nothing. You can't just sit on a dormant IP for like 10, 15 years and don't do a damn thing with it.
Yeah.
Because that shit is annoying as hell. It's like, oh yeah, we haven't done shit with this IP in years. Then why? It's like, do something. I don't care. I don't care what you do. Do something with the IP, all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if you got to take the IP and give it to. I don't care. Like, I don't care if you're just re-releasing it. I don't care if you're just remastering it. Do something with the damn RP, with the damn game. Okay, don't just sit there and just have people just up there just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal opinion. I know some people are going to be like, oh, but don't say that. It's like, okay, whatever. But anyway, that's my opinion. I know that's a. Some people get mad when you say that. They're like, don't say that. I like etc. This right here. I'm like, okay, cool. But anyway, that's the end of the podcast. Anything you want to pimp out, bring up, discuss?
Yeah, Project Console on 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday nights. Hope to see you guys there. And also, I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. You come across a woman that's from Uganda, and she talks about using wandless magic. I was like, wow, this game's great. Like, they actually made that. They actually made that joke.
Let me show you the way.
Yeah, it's like she's a transfer student from a Ugandan wizarding school, and she was like, "Yeah, it was tough using a wand at first. Like, yes, use magic without a wand. Yeah,
Let me show you the way.
yeah. It's just kind of weird that because Harry Potter in the Harry Potter lore, if your wand broke, you were SLL. Like you couldn't cast spells. I always found that kind of a dumb kind of a dumb, limitation rules. Like, well, you don't have a wand, you can't do anything. You're fucked.
Well, you have to remember that Harry Potter, that J.K. Rowling is not a very good writer. Uh, I know. People are gonna get mad when they hear that. Yeah, really, she's not a very good writer. Um, she wants people to think, because look at the other shit she wrote. Like Harry Potter was a cultural phenomenon because, functionally speaking, um,
It's a badly written pop song with a catchy hook.
no, it came at the right time and the right place, but it really isn't. In the classic sense of the word, it's not very well written fantasy. because I was reading fantasy that was way more advanced than that shit that J.K. Rowling was doing. I was like, oh, this is much better. Like I don't know why. Like I'm unimpressed with that. People are impressed with Harry Potter.
Like, I mean, I agree with you, but after playing, a few moments of Hogwarts Legacy, it's like, for all of Harry Potter's flaws, I still find it kind of fun. Like, even
Oh yeah,
it can wax poetically about all of its flaws. Like, I can rant all day about that shitty time traveling sequence in book 3. Like, what?
yeah. I
But
mean,
it's still fun.
I mean, Harry Potter is fun, but it's fun because there's nostalgia. It's like it's fun to watch old cartoon shows that are deeply problematic now, but it's still kind of fun. Like watching old,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like, oh, that's kind of racist, but it's part of my childhood. Um,
yeah,
but I mean, I can still see, oh, that's not very well written, or that's kind of poorly executed.
yeah, yeah. But
But
yeah. Uh, yeah. I've not read any of her other stuff. I haven't heard anything about it really. Or I noticed that she for a while has gone under an alias with some of her other
who,
works.
J.K.
But
Rowling?
yeah,
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 she basically what she did was is like here's what I've noticed, and I know some people are gonna get mad when they say this. Hateful people or people who have problematic viewpoints, they can only hide that shit for so long. It's like if it's like I mean I don't know your experience, but for me, there are people I grew up with who turned out to be racist, right? They can only hide that shit for so long. Eventually, it'll come out. Okay. And with J.K. Rowling, eventually the hate came out. Because you can't only bottle up hate for so long. Like you can't. You know. It's like no,
yeah,
really, I'm not hateful. I'm not. Eventually, it's got to come out. It's like an evil monster inside of them.
yeah,
You can only hide it for so long. But anyway, yeah, yeah. So the book that she wrote under her pseudonym, I read it. I'm like, this is kind of trash.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't very well. It wasn't very well written. Like the thing about J.K. Rowling, like I said, Harry Potter was the right time, right place.
yeah. And it was done in such a way that people who read it at the time, like if you were like 11 or 12 at the
They
time,
were invested. Yeah,
yeah, you grew up.
you
You
grew
grew
up
up
with
with
it.
the characters. Yeah, so it was, it was the right place and time, sort of thing.
Yeah. Now for me, like I said, because I was reading other shit that was more advanced than Harry Potter, I was like, "There's people like this shit." Like that's how I felt reading it.
Yeah,
I've read more impressive shit
yeah, yeah.
than
Yeah,
Harry
I can
Potter.
see. Yeah, I can see that.
But that's my own personal opinion. I'm gonna bounce, and but before we do, let's give our sign offs, and then we'll wrap things up. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. That's the end of this cast. Thank you for watching with us. Tell us what you think in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did you like the Nintendo Direct? Did you dislike the Nintendo Direct? Do you think that this is the last year, the last fiscal year of Nintendo really pushing the Switch? So they're gonna go out with a bang, so that their next console will have a good lead in. What do you think the next console will have? Do you think it'll be backwards compatible with the Switch? Um, you know, give us your ideas in the comment section. Kenoshi, anything you want to pimp out?
Yeah, Project Console, 6:30 Standard Eastern Time on Tuesdays. See you there. Have a good week. Have a good